Hey there, great to see you again. My name's Caitlin McDonald with the Social Speak Network, and today we are on day 12 of your first 31 days to building a profitable freelancing business. Now, I know I say this frequently, so bear with me, but today truly is one of my favorite days within this first 31 days. And it's something that I love because so frequently, even when you've been in business for years, you never go back and revisit. And it is actually coming up with the content to describe your services and figuring out the benefits of your services. Now, we already touched on this, but now we are diving in deeper, and you've had a few days to kind of sit back and process what these benefits are, so that you can really write a powerful description of your services. And this, it doesn't have to just be for freelancing. This can be in any business. It can be something that you bring your clients through. If you're a writer or social media marketer, website developer, it doesn't really matter. This is an exercise that's so important to do. So when we're talking about your services, I'm specifically here talking about your services pages. So your services pages should be written in such a way that they speak directly to your target market and show them why they can't live without working with you. So for each service that you've identified, I have a few questions for you to ask yourself. The first is, and we've talked about this already, but who is the ideal client for that specific service? In other words, what kind of person is the service designed for? So go beyond the easy answers such as defining a market, and instead be as narrow as possible. There may be a slightly different persona for each service that you offer. Then number 2, what is that real value of the service for the client? So this one can be hard to quantify, I'll give you that. But try and think of this as the benefit beyond the obvious. So what can individuals do in their life that they weren't able to do before? Is there an emotional benefit to your service and to working with you for that one specific service? Then think about what's unique or different about your service versus your competitors' offerings. So these differences could be process related, they could do with team expertise, time to complete, and it's easy for someone to provide a generic answer such as, oh, we're more experienced. What are the follow-up questions to ask there? How are you more experienced, for example? Can we tangibly show how much we have more experience, or the results that we brought our clients above and beyond what the competitors have? Another question to ask yourself as you're going through your services and the benefits of your services is, what is the cost of not having them sign up for you for your services? And so this is a little bit more of a fear factor. What could go wrong for a client who doesn't implement your services? What will they risk if they forego using you? And this actually brings up a client of mine that I had years ago. But we were working on adding keywords to different pages on their website. And they had a website that had basically a directory of, I think it's grown to 10,000 different restaurants, hotels, locations, events, and everything like that. And we wanted an easy way, as they were building out the list, to add custom descriptions and meta tags and title tags and things like that to the pages. And they knew if they had a spreadsheet filled out, they could just import that into the back end of their website. And so initially, I was going to build them basically a system for an intern to put together. However, as I got into it, I realized I could just use if-then conditioning for the Excel spreadsheet. And I put together some custom formulas for them and was able to, in an hour and a half, saved them 60 hours of work. So the cost of not having me was months of work for an intern to do. And so that's just one way as an expert, I could work smarter rather than harder, and I could show them a solution. Of course, I didn't realize it was only going to take me 2 hours. So my bid was on, per hour of work rather than the benefit of providing them with what they needed. But that's just one example of the cost of not signing up for your service. Then the next thing to think about with your services is, how is the service delivered? So this is really a simple process question. So what can your clients expect when they work with you on this service? So just kind of lay out that diagram of what they can expect with working with you. And then lastly, rather than simply listing the features of your services, the goal is to think in terms of the benefits and to create an emotional response to the services that you offer. So take a look at the answers that you just wrote down, or think about what you were just, the thoughts that were just coming in your head. And is there a way to turn those notes into a story? So I always love it when websites and when individuals freelancers talk about their services really in the framework of a story. An example structure, you can do this, excuse me, an example structure for utilizing storytelling in your services pages can be an opening that highlights the plan, then a conflict, and the journey that the user takes as they tackle this problem. And just one. So the journey that the user takes as they tackle the problem. Then you can have a dialogue and then offer the solution. So share specific results and utilize case studies. So as you're going through this, the top of the page or the top of the description, the introduction to your story is really building an emotional connection. And it's sharing the benefits. And then as somebody dives deeper, that's where you can get into the features and the case studies and everything. So you start off broad, really creating that emotional discourse with your prospects, and then you go down into specifically what you can offer for them. So again, today, day 12 of the 31 days to creating a profitable freelancing business truly is one of my favorite days because it gets you stepping kind of outside of your comfort zone for a lot of people. I know for the first 5 years that I was in business, I would put together my proposals just listing off exactly the steps I was going to take to get them from point A to point B. I didn't list off anything about that emotional benefit to utilizing our business. And then when you make that switch to really having that emotional benefit, you can truly see your business transform. So if you're just starting out as a freelancer, imagine how powerful that's going to be, rather than waiting until you're in year 5 or 6 or 7 of your business to recognize the benefit of that. So thank you for tuning in today for day 12. And again, if you haven't done it yet, I urge you to click subscribe right down below if you're on YouTube, or to click up above on Facebook and see our channel, and follow us on Facebook, like our page, join our group. And then we also do have that free guide to the first 31 days of business ownership as a freelancer. And that is what this video series is really diving into deep on. So head on over to socialspeaknetwork.com/first-month, and you can just download the guide directly there. So thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13.